Where in the Middle Earth are we? Hi, welcome to the Arab, and today I have a confession to make. Lord of the Rings was one of my favorite book series and movies when I was a child. And when I saw that Glamlight was about to have a collaboration with Lord of the Rings, I was over the moon. When I saw the packaging, I thought, oh my god, it looks so beautiful, stunning. But when I saw the inside, I was like, where in the Middle Earth are we? I understand the moody tones, the darkness, the misty forest vibes, but in my head, Middle Earth has never been this toned down and colored down, but mystic forest, glowing elven cities, the lush greenery of the Shire, and ash and fire of Mordor. It is full spectrum. And the tipping point for me was the shade called Lothlórien. And I get it's just a name, but when I saw it, I immediately heard Legolas' description of that place. That is the fairest of all the dwellings of my people. There are no trees like the trees of that land, for in the autumn their leaves fall not, but turn to gold. Not till the spring and the new green opens do they fall. And then the boughs are laden with yellow flowers, and the floor of the wood is golden, and golden is the roof, and its pillars are of silver, for the bark of the trees is smooth and gray. I'm sorry, but that is not shimmery blue. I would go for something like ochre from Cleona Cosmetics, and I don't want to say that Glamlight did bad job. I think that the palette is actually quite well structured. You have a row of shimmers and then a row of mattes, which I believe make it extremely user-friendly, and also I bet the quality is there. And maybe their goal was to create something cohesive, something for everybody to enjoy, not literally replicating each scenery from Middle Earth, especially the way I had it in my head, which is totally valid. So editing me is popping in to give you some explanation. Usually this kind of videos take me several days to film. And when I started filming it, I used this photo as a reference. And you can see that the background of the palette is very dark. It's like almost black. Boromir is like dark blue. And Frodo is something closer to this one. And today, for you that will be a day prior this video airs, I saw that actually the palette is darker green, that Boromir is dark green, that Frodo is grassy, sparkly green, and I was shocked. I blame photo for that. So maybe the palette is not as toned down and desaturated as I originally thought, but nevertheless, I would like it to have a little bit more of spectrum of Middle Earth. But that shade got me thinking. If I had a chance to design a Lord of the Ring inspired palette based on my vision of Middle Earth, the place, the people, the magic, what would it look like? So in this video, I will walk you through the version that I would create, inspired by the lore, the books, the places that impacted me. Without further ado, let's get a deep dive. And also we're going to have several very interesting looks at the end. Let's start with Bilbo. For me, he has a very warm, hearty presence, especially in the beginning. I would say something like antique gold, but in the form of eyeshadows. Something not flashy, more like satin texture. I immediately thought of something like Starstruck from BH Lost in Los Angeles palette. It's a beautiful antique gold, but maybe a touch too antique. I wanted something that feels a bit more alive. I even look into Celesta from Divina Cosmetics. It's actually stunning, but it's more like a topper and doesn't really have a strong base. So, maybe I think that something like Golden Nectar from Pat McGrath, I think that's the one I was looking for. It has that right depth and glow. Moving on to the Shire. For me, it is associated with greenery, lush fields, natural, cozy vibes. Ideally, I would like it to be represented by a duochrome or multichrome that shifts from light green to dark grassy green, something very alive. But I don't have that exact eyeshadow in my collection, so I thought maybe I should lean more matte instead because I always go for shimmers first. So for this one, I think Lizard from Nomad should be a good choice. It's a deep, slightly cool tone green that still gives me these earthy Hobbiton vibes. Not perfect, but pretty close. Now, Rivendell. In my head, it is a peaceful place where elves dwell in harmony with nature. Also, it is a place where everything officially begins. And for that, I imagine it to be very soft and celestial. Maybe something like lavender silver shimmer with green base. I don't really have anything that hits all those notes in one shadow. I thought of maybe mural, but it leans too true green. If it had more of a silvery sparkle or sage green base, I would be set. So I'm doing a bit of a layering trick. I will use Luster from Cosmic Beauty for the sparkle. It gives me the magical shimmer I wanted, and then Imperial Credit from Colourpop underneath to give it some grounding. I think it should be a perfect combination. For Arwen, it was a no-brainer. When I saw her name, I immediately knew which eyeshadow I have that is associated with her. My choice is inspired by that introductory, I think one of the first scenes where she appears wearing a gorgeous velvety purple silvery cloak and the light that she carries within. It was definitely Lux from Clionadh Cosmetics. I think it's probably the sparkliest, the most ethereal, and the most magical eyeshadow that I own. It is Arwen to me. Let me show you the swatch. It's straight up elven light in a pen. And the last one in the first row, we have Galadriel. It actually took me some time to come up with eyeshadow that could be associated with her, because at first, we saw her as a very graceful, wise elven queen. But there is that scene where Frodo is offering her a ring, and we immediately see a different version, a more darker one, more powerful one, a what-if version. And I wanted to find an eyeshadow that could show both of these sides. So I would go for a duochrome that shifts from yellow or gold to icy blue and green. I need something that flickers between warmth and coldness because that's the vibe I'm chasing for her. I actually got this duochrome from Divina Cosmetics. It's called Vila and it totally fits what I had in mind. It has a yellow base with yellow sparkles, but then it shifts to green when the light hits it just from the other side. Ideally, I would love that yellow to green shift to be stronger, but hey, this one is the closest that I have. The second row starts with one of the most beloved characters, Samwise. For me, he is straight up a sunshine. He is bright, he is hopeful, he's the kind of person that brings life to even the darkest moment. And for his shade, I wanted something that will act as an inner corner highlight to instantly brighten your overall eye look. Sorry, I got a little bit of water spillage, so we've got different kind of background. One of my favorite inner corner highlights is Secrets from Blend Bunny. That's the one. It's a pastel yellow and perfect for brightening any look, just like Sam. For Merry and Pippin, I want to stay in that happy golden color family because they are full of life and mischief. Though I don't want to put 3 yellows in a row because I think that would be a little bit too much and I don't think I actually have 3 different yellows. I think for Mary, I will go with mustard yellow because it reminds me of the vest that he wore in the movies. That made the choice pretty easy. I was thinking maybe one of these two mustardy tone shadows. I think I will go with Navarre Sand from Colourpop's eyeshadow palette. I think that's from Lothlórien. It gives the warmth but adds some depth. And for Pippin, you know, the one who asks about second breakfast in the middle of a mission, I felt like something a little more deeper and more grounded would balance it out. I think Sienna from ABH is my best shot. The next one is Evenstar, and I think here we are referred to a pendant that Arwen gave to Aragorn. I don't remember that we were given any definite explanation of what the pendant actually stands for, but for me it symbolizes her eternal love and the sacrifice of her immortality. So I want to go with something shiny and something maybe icy blue. We are looking into something definitely cool toned, silvery blue, kind of crystal tears. I don't have anything with a strong base, but I think that Boom Sour from Divina Cosmetics really stands out. It is more of a topper, but the sparkle, so delicate and pretty. I think it works beautifully for this one. Finally, Gandalf. At first, I thought I would go with classic gray matte, but then he becomes Gandalf the White, so of course I will go with shimmery instead. I don't have a ton of silvers in my collection, but I do have Hot and Fresh from BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin Palette. It's not super flashy, but it's sparkly and it has that magical gleam to it. Regarding Legolas, as far as I remember, Tolkien didn't give us a detailed description of how he actually looked. I just remember that it was mentioned that he wore green or brown, which feels like related to nature, which makes sense because he's an elf of woodland realm. So I'm definitely leaning into greens. I don't want anything flat or matte though. Legolas is so graceful and fluid. It had to be shimmer. Definitely something soft, something sagey. I think Sinful from Pat McGrath hit the mark. It has that elegance and that subtle magic to it. Moving on to Frodo. At first, I thought of dark rich brown, something from Mothership 3. But then I realized that Frodo is actually the heart of the fellowship. He's the one who brings everyone together. So why to go this dark? Let's go light instead. So I think I will pick a unifying grease shade for that spot. I definitely need something not too warm, more on the neutral side. That taupe from ABH would have been perfect if I still had it, but I think Haze from Cosmic Beauty could work. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I think Uptown Cheek from Elf might be even better. Let's go with that one. For the One Ring, I had a specific image in my head. Molten gold with a black base, where gold represents the power, the beauty, and black underneath the dark, dangerous, and ugly part. If there was a multichrome like this, I would definitely pick it for One Ring. For the gold, I think Celesta is what I am after. It's got that reddish gold sparkle. And for the base, I think actually Gigabyte from Mothership 3 might work. It is darker, but it has this cooler sparkle, which isn't exactly what I'm going for. I'm aiming for something darker. Oh, like Opulent from Elf. It has this deeper, richer feel. So imagine the sparkle of Celesta on top of the dark base like that. I think it's perfect. For the Fellowship, I wanted something solid, like bronze satin shimmer that unifies everything together. And I didn't even have to look very hard because I knew immediately that Deep Shade from Mothership 3 will be a perfect embodiment of that idea. The last shade in the third row is Lothlórien. Remember the description I gave you in the beginning? Gold, ancient, and somehow alive? I think ochre from Deep Iridescent Multichrome line from Clionadh Cosmetics is my best shot. Reach deep, full golden tones that shift to green or even blue, depending on the light. I think these are the colors I would see walking through that forest. Aragorn. I was looking for deep, dark charcoal brown matte. Something that is rugged and real, something dependable, strong, and reliable. At first, I thought that dabs from Blend Bunny might work, but it pulls a little bit too red for what I had in my mind. I need something more neutral, so I think that actually Cypress Amber feels like a better call. It's got that grounded, noble vibe that fits Aragorn so well. And finally, Boromir. I keep thinking about that crimson and golden undershirt that he wore during the movies. I think crimson is perfect for him. Proud and righteous. Reds are actually something I don't have a ton of, which honestly makes this choice so much easier. I think Auburn Allure from Pat McGrath is probably the closest match to what I had in mind. For Gimli, I was thinking copper. It captures craftsmanship, grit, strength, stubbornness. I think I even read maybe in the books that his hair was red, so I think copper is very fitting. I only have 2 coppery shimmers in my collection. It's Starlit Copper from Pat McGrath and Rose Gold from e.l.f. I definitely prefer the Pat McGrath one because it is deeper, it feels more authentically copper, while the other one leans more soft pink and lighter. Next is Gollum. Actually, this one was also one of the easiest eyeshadow picks for me. I wanted something that shows his complex personality, something that always shifts in order to show the struggle between Sméagol and Gollum. The color should never stay still. It should always change to show his personality. So I didn't even have to deeply dig through my collection. I knew exactly which shade I would pick. It is a Mystic Moon Pie from Divina Cosmetics. It has a nice warm tone reddish base and very cool tone sparkles. Something so contrasting is a perfect pick for Gollum. And finally, Sauron. Ideally for him, I wanted something with a very black base and very strong red shift, but I don't have a duochrome like this in my collection, so I will go with just plain black. It is Nevermore from Blends. Here you can see the side by side of 2 palettes. Let me bring you a little bit closer, because honestly, this look turned out to be one of my favorite ones from the whole palette. And I wasn't expecting that it will work, because initially in my head, the combination of silvery green, lavender sparkles, and copper satins did not work together, but on eyes, they are like magic. And these are the color combinations that in my head actually represent Legolas and Gimli. I will also pop the picture somewhere here. So with this look, I wanted to go a little bit more graphic and a lot of sparkle. I used a combination of Lux from Clionadh Cosmetics and Boom Sour from Divina on my lids. The graphic lines are made with Lizard from Nomad Cosmetics. I used just a tiny eyebrow brush, and in the inner corner I have my favorite inner corner shade. It is Secret from Blend Bunny Cosmetics. And according to my phone, it took me 45 minutes to do this makeup, and it always takes me a lot of time to draw graphic lines. I never do something like this to work. I need my time, my coffee, my drink, something very meditative to make sure that my hand is super steady. I love wearing greens, and I always try to find excuse to wear them. So this palette was definitely not an exception. I pulled out all the shades that are even slightly leaning green and wore them all. I think it's very Shire appropriate. Here is the final look. I really love it. I have Mystic Moon Pie all over the lid. My eyeliner is smudged with Auburn Allure. In the inner corner, I have Sinful. And on the lower lash line, I have a combination of Opulent and Celesta. I really love this look because at first it looks pretty simple, but the more you look into it, the more intricate and complex it becomes. What do you think? Let me know which one is your favorite look. It was so much fun to create Lord of the Rings inspired palette. I really got in touch with my inner kid today. If you have any suggestions for the shades, or if you do not agree with some of them, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I'll see you next time. Bye!